Oh, there it goes.
Hmm.
Crown of Thoughts. This is Lucas Adams.
Hello.
Basically, uh, the friend I've known the longest. Played
Yeah.
with Ninja Turtle action figures.
Yeah, I'd say so, man. Like kindergarten, first grade type shit.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles. Then the movie came out, and yeah,
1990.
I was watching. I was on Tubi, and that Ninja Turtle movie came. It was the second one, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, this will be fun. I have a
Secret of the
couple
Ooze.
beers. I pushed play after like 2 minutes. I'm like, this is gay. I can't outwatch this shit.
You really
So
couldn't go back to it and enjoy
no,
the
have you
nostalgia?
tried?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well, you
got my
got
kid.
kids. That's probably why.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, no, I can't do this shit.
Yeah, I enjoyed those a lot growing up.
Well, what I've noticed is the first one is more serious, and the other ones are almost like cheesier version. When I was a kid, I didn't see that at all.
Right. You
I
missed that
was
whole
just
part.
like the second one's got like a bigger shredder.
The second one has Vanilla Ice in it, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one. Oh man,
Yeah, man. So we go way back.
fucking Vanilla Ice. Then Fred Durst became like the new Vanilla Ice.
That was our middle school days. How'd you feel about Fred Durst?
I loved when $3 Bill Y'all came out. I was amazed. I'm like, this is awesome.
I
The
was too.
second one came out. I was like, I'm good. And then after a while, he became like a joke. Like that's why I say the new Vanilla Ice.
Right. Because he
To
was cool
me,
as shit.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit different. I held on a little bit longer, I think, where the album with like Nookie and Break stuff, it was the second one. I still got into it
Yeah,
and thought it was,
that's what a lot of people say. The second one, I'm stubborn.
but
So,
yeah, the first one was really good. So I have something I have to say, man.
huh.
Like I've watched a lot of these things here and everything, and I have to say I'm like intimidated by the length of time that you're able to like keep these things.
I don't know how it happens. It's like a lot easier.
I'm not that interesting, man.
I was yeah, your job is fucking lame as shit.
Yeah, that's a whole that was a whole night we had a conversation about
You're
our
dodging the
jobs.
question. You're like, I don't want to get into politics with this guy.
Yeah,
That's what Mark said on
yeah. I mean, it was, I know a lot of your thoughts and opinions on.
that. Well, yeah, but what I'm starting to realize is things are complicated, and I'm.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm saying there should be no arbitrations.
Hmm.
You know, it's not doesn't entirely make sense. It's a good for me. I think it's a good overall philosophy about it,
Yeah.
but I'm acting like it's too simple, to be honest. But yeah,
I mean,
yeah, because I'm like working in a factory and I'm like, they keep taking taxes from me, motherfuckers. It's kind of that thing.
yeah, I
It's like
totally
that a
get it.
lot with people that work in factories.
Right. Well, you're working hard as shit, and so you get frustrated by seeing all the different levels of things, and obviously we don't have to get into all
Then
that.
you're like behind the person at this. Yeah, yeah. Anyways,
But
so I didn't hear the full. I have not yet listened to the new Zayo album because I demand that I have a hard copy.
yeah,
I'm like when an album comes out that's really anticipated. I'm like a dog when they have their bone and they
yeah,
wander off with it. I'm like I can't just YouTube it. They're
and
gonna
you can't
pop
just
out
borrow
commercials.
my hard copy.
I can,
I mean,
but you have vinyl.
right.
You don't take vinyls out of your house.
I
That's like the
mean,
unwritten code.
yeah, you'd have to sign a waiver and like a release of your cat or something.
If this vinyl skips upon whatever.
Return. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have the Quicksand Slip album, and it's the first half of it like barely plays, and it
Mhm.
was like that when it came in the mail, and it was brand new.
Is it's like jump and scratch and everything? Okay. I've gotten ones
It
that
would play, but it seems like it's just popping off the thing here and
yeah.
there, and I now have to order another one, and I don't know how I should feel about that.
You should feel salty as shit about that. Yeah, I mean, I've had ones that were an issue. I actually got ones that it's two LPs in one, and they sent like side A and B like twice instead of A, B, C, and D.
Oh my god.
So I mean, luckily I got them through a company that like had people working there, and I could like email them and
Yeah, well, like some of these are like shadow companies.
Yeah.
You're like it's got a weird name, and then you can't contact them
or
whatsoever.
if you do contact them, they don't understand what you're saying. They're like, we just
Yeah.
sell you this shit.
Oh yeah, like a third party.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that probably is because some of them it's like I'll just buy another one. I'm not talking to you guys about money and refunds.
Yeah, it is a
It
big
ain't
pain
gonna
in
be
the
worth
ass.
my time.
That was one of the things, like one of the hardest jumps in like adulthood that, like, calling the cable company or the electric company, like that kind of shit just made me want to go back to being a teenager for the rest of my life and going to shows.
Yeah, because calling Comcast to do anything other than pay them
Mhm.
is the most. It took me like a day and a half to set up my internet,
Yeah.
and I'm like, guys, you've had me as a customer before. They sent me a whatever this weird box thing, modem thing, and it had what was it, a starter kit,
hmm
and it wouldn't start because it needed all this. And then because I had changed my phone number and I had a Comcast before, nobody knew who I was. They're like, that's not the proper
Yeah.
email or whatever, and it did. It took me like a day and a half.
And then it finally worked, but you were exhausted.
Yeah,
the process.
because yeah, I hate Comcast.
Yeah. I'm the same way with DirecTV.
Is that like similar?
Yeah, it's like the satellite. It's the only way I could get like a lot of the sports that I like. So we paid for that, and it's the same as Comcast. You can just get like weird channels from like
And
wherever.
it's like really difficult customer service.
I mean, it depends on who you get, and like the phone calls. But then once you get them out there, most of the time the guys that would come out to install the shit were cool and easy. Because that's where they have to actually take the dish and go like up on your roof and drill it in.
Do all that.
Yeah.
Because I used to work it was like a contractor for Comcast. And you go and run the wires and set up the modem or whatever. I did that for 2 weeks. And I'm like, no.
Was it the whole thing just awful?
Yeah, it's not for
Nothing
me.
good
Not for
about
me.
it. Yeah.
I don't like, you have to go in people's houses. First
Right.
of all, that's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm not very well versed in running wires and modems and stuff like that. So,
I get it. Makes sense. So, can you believe that like we're going to this festival like in a week and a half or some shit?
I can't wait. It's like,
This is like
I was talking to Davo about it last night. It's like there's the bands. It's like this is the only time I'm going to see these bands again. I know it.
Yeah.
And it's very important.
It's hard to express. I feel like people just look at me weird if I try to explain it. So it's best just to like keep it amongst ourselves, which makes sense.
It's like these. Well, these are like very niche bands, but it's like Stave Saker. I didn't know they still existed. I thought they were just one of them. They had 2 albums back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or whenever they were.
Yeah, 90s, 94, and 97 were like the
Zayo has been
Giants.
active the whole time. I can't say that I didn't think I'd see them, but
Yeah.
I'm most excited about seeing them. And Living Sacrifice.
Yeah. Did you
Living
go?
Sacrifice, that's one I didn't think still existed.
Did you ever see them?
Yeah. When,
Did you go
when
to
we
that
were younger, I never
Yeah.
seen them anytime recently.
I saw Stave Saker and Living Sacrifice at the same show.
That's odd.
Yeah, with like another really odd one, like some other Tooth and Nail.
Well,
band.
they were both the same label. That's
Right.
why.
Yeah.
I remember seeing fucking Joy Electric at Purple Door. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah, they are very weird.
I'll allow it. The dude from Celebrity Deathmatch, I always use him.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's gonna
And
be
there's
insane.
Poison the Well, who I never did see.
Yeah,
And then there's
you're excited about Shai Hulud?
yeah, that band. Yeah, I've never seen them either. No, I've seen them.
There was one that you told me
Yeah.
about I never heard of, Face to Face or something like that. Or
Yeah, they're not. They're like punk rock.
I liked it though.
But
I was
yeah, yeah.
surprised because it was different.
I don't want to have to explain it. Good. You listen.
Hmm.
But yeah, I always like them.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Well, it's gonna be fun as shit.
And
Yeah.
then there's them bands. I have no idea who they are whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they might all suck and they might all kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, I, I, I feel like I spent way too much time digging into the bands I didn't know, and at least to check them out. And I'd say there's at least like out of 30 bands each day, there's going to be 30 bands 3 days in a row, which is kind of overwhelming. I'd say there's at least 10 to 12 like excellent bands
Per day.
or pretty worth seeing, pretty good per day, and that's enough to.
And there's how many stages?
It's either 2 or 3. I don't even know.
So how are we gonna know?
We need this.
Is it like it? So in my head, it would be good to have that many stages so one band could set up while the other's playing.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking there's gonna be 3 bands playing at the same time, which gives me a headache.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get really close to the one you want to hear, so you're not hearing the background noise from another.
They were doing that at Warped Tour. When I went to Mayhem Fest, they had 2 stages, but the one was first basically, and then it was the main stage.
Yeah,
So it wasn't simultaneous. But I think they'll set it up in such a fashion that will, like, they kind of know.
yeah,
I think the people that are running this,
they've been planning it for like how many years now?
yeah, they're not like some guy in a suit.
No,
They probably know a good way to organize it.
I'm hoping so. Especially like bands that we want to see. I'm
Be
hoping that
running back and forth between songs.
I'm getting my cardio up, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, this is insane. I've been waiting a long time, and when I was making them audio episodes on here,
Yeah,
I listed every single band, and I'm like, and I'm gonna report to you afterwards.
that
And
was on one of these.
yeah, like one
Oh,
of
I
the
missed that.
audio ones I made like a long time ago
Yeah,
when I wasn't planning on
right.
having anyone hear it. But I'm saying that, and I'm feeling so fake. I'm like, I'm not telling nobody. No one's gonna. I'm talking to myself.
Speaking of those early ones, man, like I remember I listened to those like when you first started this shit, and like those first 2, I guess it was, like it definitely like hit home with like the movement in the brain type shit.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like, yeah, I was like, obviously I remember us growing up and being fucking weird kids, but
I didn't. I had that. I don't know. I had that behavior, and I didn't know what to do with it.
hmm
And it's like everyone acts some kind of way, so
Right.
everyone has to figure out what to do with their personality.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know for mine, like I remember just feeling like life was kind of surreal as like a young kid, and I felt like it was so abnormal, and like me remembering back to that now, like I never let it go. I always thought about it, and it was just weird feeling like I would kind of, as like a 6 or 7 year old kid, like feel like I was stepping out of my body and just kind of watching myself interact with like
I
my
did.
family and shit.
I did that too. And
Yeah.
there were times when I was young that I would think to myself, it's hard to explain.
It is.
I'd be like, who exists in this head? And then it'd start going some direction, and I'm like, nope, too much.
yeah,
And I do that, and that was freaky.
yeah. Because when we were kids, we didn't have like stuff to do all the time, so there's plenty of time to think, and you didn't have to like fill your mind with your phone or anything else.
These cell phones. I'm about to diss cell phones, and you got like 1,000 of them sitting there.
I love it.
But it's like
I don't know why. I mean, I do have
one of them phone people.
3 phones. One is personal, and then for some reason, I have a normal work phone, and the other one I'm like covering for people on vacation, so I have their work phone.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want it to seem like I'm that crazy.
You got like certain people for one number. I got poison. That's why I'm scratching myself.
Ooh, that's always fun.
But yeah, like I feel like when we were kids, it was like everything was slower,
Hmm.
and it wasn't like you had to be like with the social media. You're like pretending like you got like 100 friends, and like just super fast, hyper, like flying through, talking to random ones. It's it's just not.
It's not personable or real.
It's weird. That's what it is. It's random too,
Yeah.
because I had to get Facebook again recently, and just random people start even requesting me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What's what? Am I like famous? Why are these people doing that?" And
I
it's like
I
I
do
don't know.
I do enjoy hearing about your Facebook woes or whatever you want to call them journey. I like hearing
Well,
about your social media journey.
it's like that. It's like I don't know these motherfuckers. What's up with that? I don't care what they got to say, and they don't care what I got to say. Well, but I was talking to someone at work, and they have a bunch of different social medias, and they're like, "Yeah, Facebook is like that. It's random. So maybe all of them aren't like that." MySpace and AOL were the shit.
Agreed.
I don't fucking. It's like with
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. I didn't go past it to PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, they were the best. I mean, it had everything you needed, and you just felt like it wasn't overwhelming. You could always, it was just
Yeah,
there, but you could use
not
it.
and not everybody saw what you were saying.
Hmm.
Like there's a time and a place, and it's like if you're chilling with your grandma,
Hmm.
you're not gonna be like, I crushed 10 beers last night, yo. You got some milk and cookies? That's not how you talk to your grandma. So and then when you're talking to your friends, so like everyone's seeing everything you
Yeah,
say.
you
It's
have to
just
mesh anyone that you know, and I
you appear in all kinds of different ways to different people. It's just not Facebook or MySpace, wasn't it? Like you'd post something, but someone would have to go on your page to see it.
yeah,
It didn't just pop in.
right. Now, yeah, if you say something on Facebook or Instagram or post a photo, it goes to everyone. It just is in like the news feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you make it, if you comment on anything, which is different because MySpace used to not be like that. I don't think you didn't comment on stuff. I don't remember. It was so long ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I almost feel like watching like a YouTube like retro video of
Or you could just
it.
go back and log in your MySpace. It still exists.
They had a. I heard about that. I wouldn't know the password. That
I,
would be creepy,
I
man.
discovered mine
It'd be
somehow.
like revisiting your old house.
It was,
MySpace was so awesome. I loved it. And on your page, you could post like videos, mesh them in with your normal page.
yeah,
Like I had little cartoons
yeah,
and stuff, and you could list a number of songs. And it's like if you weren't a musician, I think MySpace was for musicians a lot. But
yeah.
if you weren't, you could still put your favorite songs on there and
Make a
stuff.
playlist. I mean,
Yeah.
that's perfect for nerds like
It'd be
us
like
when it comes to
5
music.
Like you got like 5 tracks you could put on.
Yep. So if I would click on your page, like your first song would play, and it was
Yeah.
like your entrance song.
Yeah, it could be like, yeah, exactly.
It's badass.
And then I actually got on Facebook because I was going out with this girl and I thought she was cheating on me. That's how I got Facebook. And
That's
like,
why.
yeah, that's why. And she was. You don't think things for no fucking reason. And
But you had to
that's the
Facebook
reason.
confirm it.
I never wanted Facebook in my life. That's the reason. So it was a negative reason to begin with.
So yeah, there's just some negative.
No, I like it.
Bullshit.
It's for like if people keep in contact with their family.
That's a nice thing to say. I
To
guess
say,
I guess some people do that, right?
whenever I diss shit, I end the diss with like a little positive comment.
That's nice of you.
To
Really-
kind of like soften the blow.
That's really nice.
Yeah, all right. I don't like Facebook, but, you know.
Oh man.
And so this is something I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So on the topic of social media, there's the streaming audio, and I've said that it's overwhelming to me,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where I couldn't even listen to the whole song, and I'd be skipping so fast.
Yeah.
And so I got rid of it and only went to like vinyl and CD.
How long did you give it a chance? Like, how long did you
For
work with
years.
it? Really?
Yeah, and it just finally like I couldn't take it. It was too much.
What'd you use? Spotify or Pandora or
Both.
okay,
Yeah, both. And YouTube, because YouTube didn't have used to have commercials.
right?
You could actually watch it. You know,
Do you want
this
to?
is on YouTube, and I'm dissing YouTube. Even I did that before.
Are you
Anyway,
supposed to do that?
I guess I don't know. This
Um,
video cannot be monetized.
so are you asking like what my take on it is, or?
Yeah. Do you use it?
All right.
Or...
So I use Spotify. I started in 2019. I think it was April of 2019. That's like a sobriety date or something.
I got my 4-year chip.
Oh, because I was one of those people that just I bashed it. I just I'm a music nerd. I think like physical media, the artwork, the way it sounds,
Yeah.
everything about listening to an album is like what I'm all about. I
The
don't know.
lyric sheet, the little
Yeah.
inside cover.
Yeah, even like the little lyric sheets that you can't even read it because they like
Yeah.
have little scratchings on it. It's just what me and you would sit there in your fucking room and just
It
look
was
at them.
it was the joy of it. It was almost like how someone collects a comic book.
Yeah, or
You know?
anything that
So,
yeah.
Imagine streaming comic books. How that would make someone feel. They'd be like,
Yeah. Just scrolling on the computer compared to a comic book. Yeah, that's a good example. So before that, I hated it. I just didn't understand it. I was like, okay, I understand you want to listen to it on your phone. You get interruptions on your phone. So if someone texts you and the song interrupts, that just pissed me off. I couldn't deal with it. But then, so I used an iPod Classic, which they were like way overpriced, but it was like 160 gigs or whatever. So I had like everything, all my music on there. It was so much music, and that died twice. So like I spent hours and hours and days just adding stuff onto that, and it just would die and delete all my playlists and all my artists. And so due to that, I finally said, let me just give this Spotify thing a try, and I never looked back.
So it's like a cloud. You don't have to save the music.
Right. I don't have to save it. I just add my favorite artists onto my basically like my list. So I can just scroll through all my favorite artists and just click on a band and click the album I
Oh,
want to
you
hear.
can make playlists on there.
And I can
can't
also make playlists.
you?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I know what you mean about like skipping around and feeling like you have like every
Anxiety.
yeah. So I never got it quite that bad, I don't think. And then whatever anxiety I did get about it, I was able to like move past it and just kind of focus on what I wanted to get out of it and make it like a positive thing for me. Not that I use Spotify exclusively. I mean, you know how many records like
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with records and I still have all my CDs.
There's a way to find, first of all, to find different artists and listen to some stuff that's on your mind. You're like, I have to hear that.
Yeah.
But then you still do music as like collectible.
Yes, it's
stuff.
still like it's still my biggest like thing I collect. One of the only things I collect really anymore.
Yeah, that's
So it's a positive for me because if I'm listening to a record, say like I'm getting ready in the morning for work and I throw a record on and I don't have time to finish it, I just hop in my car and pull the record up on Spotify and I'm blasting it on my way to work.
finishing it like that.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times.
So do you pay for Spotify?
Yeah, I get premium and it's like $14.99 a month.
And there's no commercials.
No commercials. I play whatever I want, anything. And with premium, I have 5 different accounts with it, so I can share it with my family.
This episode is sponsored by Spotify. People keep saying like, you can't say that, do it? It's like, I don't know that
What's gonna happen?
Spotify gives a fuck about this.
Yeah, I'm saying good things about it at least.
Yeah. Anyways, so like, it might have been the commercials that really did it for me because I do remember enjoying making these long playlists as long as they'd let me and putting them on random and shit.
Right. Yeah, that's fun. Because I mean, when you're in that moment of like, I don't know what I want to listen to, and I don't want to dive into an album, which happens every now and then.
I just feel like jamming out, and I don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not making a commitment to a specific album.
It's perfect for that.
Yeah. All right, so I might just be doing that, like back against the wall. I think this type thing.
But if you're not missing it, and it's not something that you feel like you're missing out on, then who gives a shit?
Yeah. No, I used to do that, a lot of that, and you do find different artists.
Yeah. Yeah, because every time you put on an artist, down at the bottom it says you might also
Yeah,
like these bands.
yeah.
But honestly, like friends of mine, we're not supposed to say people's names, I guess. So
No, I know that's fine. It's just if, unless we're like saying something negative.
no, I mean like friends like you and Barsh and Mark and people like that. I get more bands from you guys that I
Then,
want to listen to than like the suggestions on Spotify.
because those are like algorithm
Yeah,
based,
yeah,
and these are like I know who you are based.
yeah. It's true. Speaking of, like you said something earlier, I forget what it was, but do you have like this weird sense that like the connections you had when you were younger are like stronger or better than like friends and things that you make later on in life?
I think so. I mean, read in psychology textbooks, they say the first 4 years of your life influence the majority of how you act the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I don't understand that because it doesn't seem like you have that much of a personality at that time.
I understand all that with like the home and hearth and like you know all those like Maslow's hierarchy of needs and like you when you get those at a young age like you have those connections with those people. But
Yeah.
we didn't meet at 4. Like you know we met later on at like 6, 7, whatever it was.
Oh, like so
Like how many?
we have similar ways of looking at shit and our obsessions with music, and we went off and hadn't talked for fucking ever, and still are like that way
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It might be.
So part of
It's
like
like, but did the chicken come before the egg? Maybe we no, because we were friends when we were playing with Ninja Turtles.
yeah,
Well, there goes that.
yeah, but I mean I know the music piece is huge for both of us.
And
'Cause-
it kind of took, and it was kind of an influenced on me by my dad and my sister.
yeah,
They were that way, especially my dad because he had when he got his first CD player, he had a 200 disc changer.
yeah,
He filled it and then had a piece of paper with all the bands listed on it
that's so cool.
that he would change it. And I wasn't that into music. That was a long time ago. I had like Weird Al Yankovic, so it had something to do with my dad. And
Yeah,
so yeah, it might be like the things exactly what you're saying. I would guess I would agree with that.
but I mean I guess part of the question or thought is that I feel like I'm in the minority in that of a lot of people I interact with now like don't have that same like connection. Like it's a lot of people, you know, like that I still talk to and connect with like from when I was younger. And then I you know how we get like crazy in our heads sometimes and it's like, well, am I just that weird that like no one else gets me enough or I like keep people at a distance? I don't know.
I do that. I don't know. Like I have, not many people are like that. To be honest, when I talk to a lot of people, I just like even people that are big like using music as just an example.
Hmm.
Like it goes off into the like your whole entire life. But music as the easy to use example, even big music fans aren't quite that it or don't dive that deep into it. And like a lot of people I talk to that they'll like I used to think like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, man. They're into that corny shit. It's like they're listening to music more in the background
Hmm.
and like, I like this song when they're at the bar and shit.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, these are just different kinds of people. So in my head, I always viewed music that way,
Hmm.
and other shit. So it goes into other parts of my life. And for me, I'm actually almost non-functional because of the way like I have these things I have to do or I don't feel right, and
Like a daily kind of a thing.
yeah, kind of like a
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's like I'm not in the moment. I'm in my head instead.
Yeah.
Type thing.
I can relate to that too. Instead of enjoying the moment or like doing something, you're in your head still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll be like that at work and barely paying attention to what people are saying. So it does affect a lot.
Uh huh. I don't know if there's any way to change that, or if I want to change it.
Well, that's what I was doing that episode on, because that was just for me to listen to
Yeah, you
back.
said it wasn't meant for.
And actually, in randomly talking, I came up with some kind of half-ass solution to what was going on. I'm like, I'm fucking 37, guys. How many habits am I changing? Like, not physical things I do, but like the way I think. That's probably not changing.
Yeah.
So what could I do what could I do with that state of mind that's more productive? It's kind of what I came up with.
I think there's a lot to that, and I think it's in your mindset too, like, and your decision making.
And it can go wrong. I mean, like, so I'm having a beer here, but let's say that mindset spirals me into like to the point where I'm like, I have to drink X amount of beers today, or do this or that today, and so it can go really bad.
Right.
So that's in that episode. I'm like, well, I could think of a way.
Yeah.
To go equally as productive as non-productive. It was actually I didn't want anyone to hear it, honestly, but it was.
What made you decide to post it?
I always kind of wanted to do a podcast, and eventually I'm like, you know what, fuck it.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, it did have like an intellectual feel to it anyway.
Yeah.
So, which is weird. So the audio episodes I made, they almost had like a lesson or something to them. And then when I started having people over, I'm just like drinking beers and telling dick and fart jokes and shit. But
it's quite the extreme, man.
Now, when I had my sister on, that was like.
Yeah, I learned a lot about history, man.
You know who? What's her name? Rhonda Patrick.
Sounds familiar.
You know who that is? I made a meme of her, and I said, episode 16, Kara Patterson, and it showed Rhonda Patrick talking. Anyway, she's this super intelligent, like, scientist or something, and she talks. Kara reminds me of that.
Yeah.
She's not a scientist. Damn, my leg itches.
Poison is the worst. But, yeah, I feel like we need to do some hikes this fall.
Yeah, Barsh has already shown me 2 mountains that he's climbed.
Yeah.
In the time that I was thinking about climbing a mountain.
Well.
So I honestly,
we
can do like smaller hikes and shit to
Yeah.
kill time on it, but this poison is bad. There's like whatever hikes, but he's got some hardcore ones.
Yeah.
Like he can set all that up.
Yeah, I'm down for like a day trip type thing.
Yeah, those. Yeah. But I guarantee he knows where to do all that shit too.
Yeah.
But that's hiking and being outdoors is like the one thing, honestly, that makes me feel more in the moment, and that fucking way
Right.
I would say neurotic way I think is just gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone. The same way with music, with a concert anyway.
Yeah, or if you're really into like a live show on YouTube even, or put a record on and you're just really into it, I'm the same way then. That's when I can finally like bring it down.
Yeah. The voices.
Sound crazy, but I mean it's just like real.
Well, I was talking to my sister and she was like, yeah, you know, and she's like, I think this way. It's like, that's the same fucking thing. Ish. But I love hiking, man. The fucking Barsh had. So he did all the planning and stuff. I'm just like, I'll go a couple days off. Well, we go to New Hampshire. It's 9 hours away and climb this gigantic fucking mountain. I would have never found.
So you went.
I would have never known to do
in
that.
2 days and came back.
It was like 2 or 3 days. It was 9 hours away too. And so the weather was horrible. So when we climbed the mountain, it was pouring rain.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you talk about that in one of your?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
for sure. That's one of the coolest things I've ever done. I keep talking about it.
I can't remember if it was in person or when I'm watching some of these things.
I'm always talking about it.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, it means that it meant something, and it was like an experience.
Yeah, because I went on years ago. I went on vacation in Utah, and they had tons of mountains, and I just go climb them. Because I'm in a house with like 20, 15 family members and shit, which I love my family. But in the mornings, I'm like, I gotta go out and do something alone.
Right.
There's mountain. You can just walk to any kind of mountain. At least where I was. So I always wanted to do that, but I don't know any fucking mountains. I keep
Yeah.
going to Cheeky's Rock.
You keep going there?
Yeah, because I don't know any places to go.
I'm gonna grab a beer. You need one?
Not yet.
All right.
Yeah. Oh man, this poison's fucking with me.
How'd you get poisoned? Hiking?
Oh, dude, we tore down the chicken coop. There
Yeah.
was poison sumac all around it.
Oh no.
Now that, dude, I can't. I want to get the video.
Who
I took the last swing of the axe that knocked the whole thing down. Like we were tearing the wood off all around the sides, and it was slowly.
Oh, shit.
And then I just grabbed that axe and went at it and dropped it. I'm like, everyone back off. This is my childhood.
It definitely was, man. I mean, I experienced the chicken coop at a young age. I know you had many different years and different experiences in the chicken coop.
Yeah, we were partying in it all
Yeah.
the time. And it was Daniel Jones. I don't fucking know why, but he called my house. And when me and him were chilling here and there, we met each other at the mall or something.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out a little. But well, no, this actually wasn't that time. This is when I was younger, obviously. If my mom's. Anyway, he calls the house. She brings the phone out to the chicken coop, and I'm tripping my ass off. And I open the door, and she's like, "You're on drugs." And I'm like, "Mom, would I ever do something?" You know, one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like the only bad. My parents left me alone when I was back there. So
Yeah.
that was like the only time. But then eventually my mom's.
Yeah. I mean, we hung out like that and everything when we were a little younger before all that. You know.
Yeah, I
the
had
party
the
days.
Super Nintendo in there. I used that.
Do you remember we used to fight in there? Like we'd have like Fight Club before Fight Club even came out.
Oh, man.
And I feel like these are like vague memories, but someone fell through like into the basement.
Oh, yeah, they did. Who was? It was your brother, wasn't it?
I don't know.
No.
It was.
no.
It could have
yeah,
been.
it was a long time ago. I can't remember.
We thought someone died. Like they fell into like through the floor. But
Yeah,
we put on
'cause-
Silverchair and helmet and just like decided like, hey, you're gonna fight him tonight.
Yeah, it was like I did use that chicken coop a lot
Yeah.
when I was real young. Me and my cousin would shoot the wall with BB guns.
I think the best memory I have, if we can go down the memories lane real quick, was do you remember the giant ass beehive that was on the chicken coop?
Oh yeah.
And me and you started kicking soccer balls from like 20 yards away at this beehive because we were just dumb fuckers for no reason. And we're like, oh, we're bored. Let's just see what happens if we
Yeah.
can hit it. We
Let's
got
see what
closer and
happens.
closer, where we like we instead of kicking the ball, we just took it in our hands, and we're throwing it at the beehive. And you finally hit it, and the bees came everywhere. And they didn't like. I got stung like 10 times on my leg, man. And it was rough. It was. I had shorts on, and I'm just like
It's
beating
like,
my
what's
legs.
the most intelligent thing we can think of to do right now?
Let's do the opposite.
Let's attack a fucking beehive.
Good times.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, and fucking and at our school now there were something I like to talk about our school is yeah, there was a dress code and some dumb shit like that, but a lot of people and they do that with a lot of stuff, but a lot of
Yeah.
people there was like, this school sucks, blah 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 blah. And it's like you got how many people arguing with each other at this school? You got how many people at least somewhat getting along?
Yeah.
And it's a tight knit group of people. Like, what do you want?
We wanted to complain about stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
That's
I do
anywhere
that.
you are, though.
Yeah.
But looking back, it was like time of our lives, man. We had a blast.
Yeah.
And we found ways around the rules, like with our hair and everything.
And that was almost the fucking fun of it.
I
Because I would
know.
keep my hair behind my ears. Because they said if it covers 3/4 of your ears,
Do you remember what I did with my hair?
you spiked it.
Yeah, I stopped washing it. And
I'm watching.
I just like pushed it up. It was like this mop that I just like pushed up like Wayne Static or some shit, and it was just everywhere, and just it
You
wasn't
had
touching my ears.
You had to find little tricks and little ways to sneak around it.
But it made it, like you said, it made it fun. It just was a different experience.
I really liked it. And it's like probably anyone, whatever high school they're in, it's like you get out of high school and then you start doing the actual other shit.
Hmm.
High school don't seem too bad at that
No.
point
Yeah.
because life don't fuck around.
Yeah, I remember because I moved to Ohio and went to college there, and I tried to like reinvent myself. Remember, I went by everyone knows me in York as Luke, like that was just who I was. And then I was like, I'm gonna tell everyone my name's Lucas, which is my birth name, but that's like where I started the whole Lucas thing. And then realized like, what am I doing? I'm trying to like be someone else. Like,
Well, it's
I was
like
okay.
everyone's always called you one thing. Like things catch on, and it's pretty much the done deal at that point.
Yeah.
It's like you were in a new place,
Yeah,
and everyone don't know you, and they're gonna call you whatever. I get it.
yeah. Just some of those funny things looking back. Like we're both
It's
37 now.
It's
so
like this is the new incarnation of me. Like how Zayo
Mhm.
fucking changes every single album,
Yeah.
which is
And it's so hard not being able to talk about that new album with you.
I was literally gonna ask you to bring it over so we can listen to it first.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you don't take vinyls out of your home.
I mean,
So
I
I
think
didn't
it's
even
allowed
ask. Maybe that's a rule I made up.
Yeah, I mean, you can take them out of your
I
house.
guess
but,
it depends who you're letting borrow it. You know what I mean?
and I probably like look at the table and the stylus and everything first to make sure it's not going to scratch up the records. That's all I would do, but I'm a nerd like that.
Well, it matters because the first record player I got was really bad, and
One of those Crosley bullshits.
you remember the Retro Addicts guy?
Mm-hmm.
I showed him it,
Yeah.
and he had a lot to say about it.
I bet he did.
And it turns out the records I did play on that, it did wear them
Mm.
out because the needle was too heavy or something.
Yeah, either the shape of the needle or the weight could definitely affect it, and not completely ruin your record, but takes away some of the
It's like
pristine
it sounds a
sound.
little more fuzzy
Mm-hmm.
than it did.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I mean, we all got started. I don't know. It's not for everybody. You really have to love music, and you have to love the physical.
The reason
Designer.
I got into it is because I totally missed the collectible aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "This is say your Spotify account is just disappears, or the internet like fucking goes out
Right.
for a second and everything gets deleted.
Mhm.
This is records are analog.
Yeah.
That's forever. The ones that sound weird and have scratches in them, it's like this album's from fucking 1976. What do you want, man?
Right. What else is held up that well?
Lasted long enough.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about like movies then? Everyone does, the streaming and Netflix and Hulu and everything else.
I love streaming
Yeah,
movies. To me, movies you don't watch like 10 times.
I agree.
But so then you got like collectibles. Like I got the Friday the 13th box set.
Yeah, there's like certain things of it, but it doesn't span as far as what music does.
Yes, I stream movies.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Same here.
But while you were saying that, what did you think about this needle? Is there, because someone was telling me there's a better type I should get, honestly. Or is that just your standard?
Yeah, that's a standard. You can always upgrade, but that's not a bad one. It's
Okay.
not gonna ruin your records.
Yeah, someone was telling me they're like that. There's one that could be better on your records, and I started freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh my god, am I ruining?
Well,
my
eventually it'll wear out. Like I forget how many hours they're supposed to last you. You have to.
fucking-" I've never replaced it.
How many years have you had it?
A long time.
You should replace it.
I don't even know how.
You order one on Amazon.
I'll do that.
Just look it up, or compare it. I'm sure it has like the model number on it, and then you can either get this exact same one, or they'll have like levels. So different grades. Like once you get a good enough quality, then you're fine. It's just, do you want it to sound like a little more, clearer, or like, do you want like the punchiness to affect it better? It's
So that's actually pretty cool because
yeah.
I mean, what would be the price difference?
It depends. I mean, if that's like a $30 stylus, I'm sure you could also get like a 50, 100, or $200 stylus.
You
Just
know,
depends on what
I'd
you want to
take
do.
I'd take.
My ears can't differentiate between like the $100 and $200. So
Uh-huh.
why would I pay that much extra for something that like I'm sure if you're like a concert pianist or some whatever composer, you're gonna understand the difference. But I'm not coming out to say like I understand the
Well,
differences with air.
well, if you think about it though, how much my record collection is a lot more fucking money than my record player.
Yeah,
So with all that, there's a lot of money there. So, but if you can't tell the damn difference,
yeah.
then
It again, it's
a lot of it's marketing, like with other products.
yeah,
Well, shoes. Like you want to tell me Nike Airs are actually more well made than another type of shoe? They're fucking expensive.
right.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Those are the ones, right? People collect them in the box and like,
Yeah, I don't know all the names of those. Yeah, I don't do all that. But people go crazy with the shoes, for the wait in line and everything for the new releases. Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I get that actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was never for me. I used to love. I still like shoes, but like I was more of like a bargain shoe shopper.
I'm actually all about shoes and hats.
Yeah.
Sounds like a chick. I got a shoe rack and stuff. I order because they don't sell the fucking skater shoes anymore at the store. They're
Yeah.
all even Vans. They have some other look to them now.
With
And
the
so
Vans, like they look different.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so like online I can get more skater shoes
Okay.
style. It's like pretty much what I always wore.
Right. I feel like they sell them at like Journeys and Foot Locker now.
Journeys, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say. I don't know about Foot Locker. I go to Payless or would. I don't actually. Honestly, the mall's not even relevant anymore.
Well, it is now because there's a freaking casino in it.
They probably had to do that. But that shit
Yeah.
makes me sad because I remember my parents would drop me off at the mall
Mm-hmm.
for the day.
Yeah.
For a couple hours. Like there's the arcade,
Well, yeah,
there's
the
this
arcade.
store, and you don't have the internet shopping and stuff. It's
No.
like, oh, for sure, our arcades anymore. Yep. Have you been to that place in York?
The Timeline Arcade
Yeah,
downtown. Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
it is. Yeah, there's your promotion. You can promote that.
What's it called?
Timeline Arcade.
This episode brought to you by Spotify and Timeline Arcade.
Go have some fun playing X-Men or Ninja Turtles downtown. If you could have the York Galleria back in its prime or the West Manchester Mall back in its prime, which one would you want open?
Oh, the York Galleria.
Really?
Yeah, because there were more stores. I would walk around that mall for like a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like my parents would agree to drop me off there and pick me up at whatever time.
Because you're a responsible young man.
It was probably more like they're like, get this fucker out of the house so we can chill. Like now that I'm an adult,
Yeah.
it's like, what, he wants to leave for a couple hours? Fuck yeah.
Thank God.
And Hot Topic, oh my God, I would love that store. I'd be like, I want some fucking gay ass looking
Is that where you get your
velvet
Jankos?
black button down shirt with some fucking. I was all into that shit.
It was cool.
That shit had me listening to The Cure and
Yeah.
it's like whatever the fuck I was into, that goth thing. And well, actually, The Cure's good. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I listen to them now. No, they're actually really good.
I
Very
agree.
good voice.
I used to hate everything from the 80s, except, like, of course I love Turtles and Simpsons and all that shit that originated, but the music I could never get, except for, like, some of, like, the later metal. But I slowly began to appreciate some of the other stuff that came out of it.
I think a lot of it's because like when you hear music not from your time, you're hearing the highlights.
Yeah.
Of like what they would play on the radio or something.
Yeah.
Like fucking,
But I love
I'm
the
a
60s
Mexican
and 70s.
radio and Taco putting on the Reds
Yeah.
and that type of thing. But there's like, oh, the 80s also had Megadeth
Yeah.
and Anthrax.
Yeah, man.
But well, yeah, West Manchester Mall though, that was good. I was there more
Yeah.
for sure. I did karate there when I was young.
Did you?
Kempo karate. I did it for 2 years, and I got
Did you do Kempo karate because it's close to your last name?
no. It was just whatever the closest one was. Kempo actually is obviously the most wuss style of karate.
Is
What
it?
am I trying to say? It was all self defense, and it doesn't actually work that well when you
So
hear.
it's like the Mr. Miyagi's karate from
What's
Karate
that?
Kid.
Mr.
Kara-
Miyagi,
You never watched Karate Kid?
like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all about self defense.
Oh yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's like no. I want to chop cinder blocks up
Yeah.
and like attack people.
You wanted to go to Cobra Kai.
Yeah, because
They were the badass.
you
like,
see this movie and this dude's chopping a bunch of blocks, and then you go to this session and they're like, you're doing like interpretive dancing with kicks, basically.
yeah. How many years did you do that?
2.
And then you were like, nope, I had enough.
Yeah, well, I started feeling self-conscious about it because they on your left leg on the bottom they give you a little stripe for every year there you were there, and I had 2 stripes, but there were people with 1 stripe that had advanced farther than me, and I felt like I sucked at it and quit.
Oh man.
That's some petty shit.
No, but I mean, how many people could relate to that?
Well, why'd they give us the damn stripes? To me, it basically said it took me this long to get this far. But
yeah,
to them, it was like, you know.
That's terrible. That's the reason you quit.
Also, I didn't like having obligations. I'm not good at having a schedule. You know, I basically like to shoot from the hip. And if I have every Thursday at this time, I have to go to karate.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it all the time.
Well, that's kind of like work. You have a schedule, but we don't feel like it all the time, right?
I do that shit. I work constantly.
Oh. Good old work.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get out of it and do something else. And I might be on that road. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends about all that shit and beats and mixing them. I don't know. It might be nothing.
It's exciting either way, you know. It's something.
It's fun. It's actually my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, then keep doing it at least, even if it's not like a career change. It's still.
It's something other than drinking Busch beers and
What's
watching.
What's wrong with Busch beers?
Nothing, but the more I think there's nothing wrong with it, the more I do it.
No, that's some logic. That makes sense. Yeah.
No, but I'm excited about that. This guy said he has 400 beats to send me to chop up and mix and kind of finalize. And so I started to wonder about that. Like, could I do this a lot and quit working in a factory?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about rapping. That's very, very hard to monetize. Nowadays, you can go touring, and you spend more money on the touring than you make.
Yeah.
I would, anyways. I'm not famous.
Right.
And no one buys fucking albums, but there's people that need shit mixed. I guess I didn't know there was this market.
I mean,
that would be, you could be like, give me whatever per song or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. It's at least a good side gig if you can get it going like that.
Yeah, I'd do that. I love to do that. So it's like, I don't need money. That's actually just going to fill time for me.
Yeah. But if the money comes with it, then you can't complain. Oh man.
I really should have played the new Zayo album before you came over because I knew this was like It's like the white elephant in, what do they say? The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The thing everyone is thinking about. And I'm not, because I've been a stubborn bitch. I haven't listened to it. I heard like the first couple songs, and I'm like, this is too good. I have to wait for
Yeah.
the fucking hard copy.
Yeah, it's great all around. I mean, wait as in like, are they back ordered? You can't get a record or a CD or
I just never went ahead with it.
yeah,
But I really like the Virus.
the well-intentioned virus. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah, this
And
one's
like because they went a couple albums, they fucking went down a path that I wasn't too big on.
yeah. Yeah,
And
Mark
then
started
when they popped that one out, I was like, dude, this is good.
yeah. Mark turned me back onto some of those albums and I went back and I enjoyed them. They're better than I gave them credit for.
Yeah.
But yeah, this new one, man, it's just the content and then just it's great.
Yeah, I should just order the goddamn record. I don't know. Because you're saying with Zayo, their records aren't always in stock and shit.
Yeah, I think the first group, first group of them sold out and they repressed it, and they're available now.
They're one of those bands, they know what they're worth. They'll put out an album with like one fucking song on it. And they'll be like, guys, we dropped the new song, and everyone fucking jumps on it like a dog on a steak.
Yeah,
They have
huge
they
following.
have a fucking niche market, but it's insane and will never stop.
And I mean, the way that they do it, like on Facebook and shit, they actually like respond to their fans.
I don't see that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like people will say like, "Oh, why'd you only repress this many of Blood and Fire?" And they're like, "Well, you know, money is money, and we were scared we weren't going to sell enough, or the pressing plant would only do this much." But it's like they actually care enough to say that, or they're like, "Why don't you go back and repress this?" They're like, "Well, we are really pushing the new stuff, and we are really like their investment was in the new shit." So I just love seeing that. They're like real guys.
That's pretty cool because
Yeah,
that's like the point where people start fucking dissing the bands that they actually like.
yeah,
I don't know, you know what I'm talking about.
yes,
Because they don't understand what's going on.
right. Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, we go off on these music tangents. We can talk all night about fucking music.
Dude, that Mother's Day out, Mothers. I always just wanted to say Mothers. But anyway, that album,
Yeah,
every time I play it, I just get sucked back into this childhood thing because I haven't heard it
yeah.
in forever.
Well, there's like a great story behind it. That like you found this band. How did you find the band? Was it the
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Kombat's where we found every fucking band.
Fear Factory.
Fear Factory.
And then Geezer did that thing on there.
Yeah, that because that fucked with my head. I didn't know either band.
Orbital.
KMFDM.
Yeah.
Napalm Death. If I didn't say that already.
Yeah, you didn't say that one. Yeah, they were on it too. Did you ever go back and watch that movie? The original?
Yeah, not.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
can
the
watch.
same thing with the Ninja Turtles.
I could watch the old Ninja Turtles 100 times before I watch that Mortal Kombat movie. But the soundtrack is still holds up.
What movie can you say the best part of it was the soundtrack? You know what I mean? It's like,
well,
even the Mortal Kombat remixed song was badass.
Yeah.
Test your might.
It was so trancy. I could just like go apeshit over that. Yeah.
It's like for my birthday, my aunt took me to the mall, gave me like $30 for the arcade. Took me to see that movie, the Mortal Kombat movie, and then when we got out, took me to the CD store. I got Silverchair Frog Stomp, Offspring Smash, and the Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Wow.
And she bought those for me.
Which store?
One of those, Camelot or the
Camelot,
Mall or something like that. And that set me off, man. If that day did not occur, I don't know what I'd listen to.
Well, back to Mother's Day Out. You had that CD. So that's how, I mean, Mortal Kombat's how you found out about that band. And then you went and found the CD at one of these stores?
at a used CD store, and I was rummaging through one of them giant fucking boxes of
Yeah.
used shit. Found it by accident.
And do you remember what you did with it then after you had it for a year or two?
Did I give it to you for
You
some other
you
CD?
traded me for something
Something, I guess, that wasn't as important.
because we don't remember what it was, but you really wanted it, whatever it was. So we traded, and from sometime in middle school up until like a year ago, I owned and held on to that copy of Mother's Day Out.
That is insane.
And then I felt guilty that I had this prized possession for so long and got it for probably who knows what. And so I gave it back to Aaron. And now we can
Dude,
both
and
enjoy it.
this is like a portion of my childhood, basically. The way I view music, it's actually part of my childhood. It's more real. Anyway,
Yeah.
this album on CD cannot be bought. Look this band up on eBay. You'll find like a 7-inch that costs like $200.
Really?
Not $200.
But it doesn't even have all the
You'll find a
songs.
7-inch that might be like $30, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm buying this only because I'm the only person on the planet that knows who the fuck this band is,
Yeah.
and I want it, and they know that. So anyway, I could never have gotten this CD again because I'm pretty sure they made one album and broke up, and no one ever heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it's I don't know how many they made, but that was like the only one we ever saw.
Yeah.
If someone randomly goes like listens to this and goes to listen to Mother's Day Out, like
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
so confused.
But then you would play Tourniquet and Mortification,
Yeah.
and Tourniquet has some of the best fucking. The Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance is
It's a
like
great album.
the best thrash ever.
Yeah, the guitar work is insane. The drummer, Ted Kirkpatrick, is like just
Crazy.
yeah.
And you're just like, this is a cool band. And then when you're older, you're like, no one else can do that, actually,
Yeah.
now that I look at it.
And
The
I mean,
Skizik's Dilemma, the way those songs were, like, they were complicated rhythms.
very. And I mean, I had to find the good stuff within like that kind of scene because like there, you know, I couldn't go to the store and buy Offspring and Silverchair when I was that young.
Why your parents would have smashed it, or
They wouldn't have smashed it. They wouldn't have let me have it. Probably it was
my dad took Metallica's Black Album away from me
yeah
because the track on it was called "The God That Failed." He's like, "You're not listening to this." He took some other stuff. Korn, Life is Peachy. I think everyone that was a kid got their Korn, Life is Peachy CD taken away from them.
I mean, this album behind us has a song called "Suicidal Dreams" on it, and my dad saw the track listing and he's like,
Oh, that was what did
"What's
it.
this about?"
Well, look, think about it though. Your kids got this album,
Yeah,
and it's like, so that might have not been a moral thing. It might have been like, I don't want my fucking son thinking about killing himself type thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I respect the hell out of what they were trying to do, and and did. So,
I view my parents the same way,
yeah,
and a lot of people I talk to disagree with some things their parents did because they were wrong.
yeah,
I disagree with the things my parents did disagree with them because I didn't want to do them.
yeah.
And my parents made me get a job when I was 15 years old.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? No one works when they're 15 years old. And now the only way, because I've lived a very irresponsible life, and I'm fine, perfectly fine, because I have insane work ethic.
Yeah,
And that's what they were trying to do.
yeah. We talked a lot about that, like, as we hang out and drink beers or do whatever, and it's cool to have that. Not everyone is lucky enough to have
Yeah,
that.
like the growing up in like, even in like a religious environment.
Yeah.
Like we did. The going to church and stuff was fine for me, and I hit a certain age and I'm like, I don't buy this. And I had this big attitude, but anyway, like that kind of thing, having parents that are like, we wanna, make this point that
Yeah.
you don't fucking like, and then church has a kind of structure to it, anyways.
Yeah.
It has a structure to it.
And you're saying that structure is good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at least helpful.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I didn't agree with it, but whether I do or not, it was helpful. So, and I'm great. Basically, I'm saying I'm grateful for the way I was raised.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can always fall back on that, and it always, like you said, like that work ethic alone, and just kind of the consistency.
Yeah, a good baseline. I mean, it's not like
We both did a lot of dumb shit in our lives.
I always did. It's like I do whatever I want, and what I want's not always the best thing.
Yeah.
And I do. I just like fucking contradicted everything I said about how I was raised.
No, but like you
On
said,
a different aspect of it.
yeah,
But I got into a lot of trouble. And I do wonder if I had a more chaotic upbringing, if I would have been more orderly. Because I've had friends like that.
hmm
Like my house is a little messy typically, and I was always told to like clean up and stuff. And I have friends that their houses were just trashed all the time, and they're super clean
yeah,
and shit. That's what I'm trying to say.
right. Well, same as like if your parents smoked and you don't, or if you do, or if your parents didn't smoke and you do, it's I don't know. Who knows what the stats are on all that, but
Yeah.
I guess what we're getting at is we like had good parents.
We
have good
turned into
parents.
like some evil sons of bitches, and we're trying to rationalize. It's okay because you can't help it, man. No.
Yeah, we went through our chaos days separately though, which is weird. It's cool that we like hang out now and like have stories to tell.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with fucking going crazy, because it's like if you actually do entertain different aspects of your mind, you can wear them out and be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's what that's like, instead of living life with this big what if type deal. That's how I view life.
Yeah. Some people probably don't need to either experience certain things or don't have a desire to.
Yeah.
But we were crazy kids, man. If anyone, I don't know, like going back to like us in a private school, like we were pretty weird and did like weird shit, and like we had different cliques and different groups, but still, like you were saying, all the groups kind of came into one. Like we used to do so many things together as a whole class that like we were all cool with each other.
Yeah, our like classmates were friends.
Yeah.
And they weren't just and that's probably because we had a small class. Like how many kids, I don't know, how many kids does a public school class generally have?
Nowadays, it's like 400 to 700, I think. Most schools
And,
for a
and
graduating
what, we had
class.
like 50?
50 or 55.
That might be why. It might not be that the school was that fucking awesome.
We're just coming to this realization now.
Like,
But wouldn't it be hard?
see us why. Let's just have a fucking smaller. No, I'm joking.
Wouldn't it be hard? Like, would it be harder or easier? Because like we were like forced to be around each other all the time.
You could be. It sounds like anyway at a public school you could be more invisible, which is actually can be a really good thing.
Depends what you want, I guess.
But I liked it. I liked the school.
There was no way to be invisible though.
No, not really. Like even if you were, you were the invisible guy. It's like
You were known.
it's like, damn it, dude.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm trying to do here.
You're ruining my thing.
Yeah, it was cool. A lot of the teachers were cool. Some of them were a little bit weird.
Uncool.
Really like black and white type thinkers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. A little bit. But none of them were really that bad. I don't know.
No.
My biggest problem was the dress code, just because for me, fashion was very important at that age in high school.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I think it is.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, you always have to have something to complain about. And like,
yeah.
I remember like I would almost follow after like the Rage Against the Machine type stuff just because it was something to be angry at.
Yeah. I mean,
Whether
he even says in that one song, anger is a gift.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wonder how, what am I saying? I wonder how true that is or how positive a way of thinking.
Well, anger isn't a bad thing. Like anger is like instilled in you to be able to like defend yourself and to like feel, you know, we had plenty of conversations about like morals and ethics and different things like that. But you know, at some point, when like you get angry about stuff for a reason, and it's just what you do with that anger.
Yeah, because you better do something with it.
Yeah, but you don't like growing up. I thought you had to like use it to, like as a weapon.
Yeah, it should be like something that makes you should be angry because you want to do something better. Or you're
Or there's an injustice or something.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because if you keep it inside, anger can be a very bad thing. If you would keep it inside, you just blow up at random times.
Because it turns into resentment and hate and frustration and just things that like you can't do anything with.
It needs to be dealt with in a pot. Yeah, that's like it's a lot of things, man. I have issues with anger. I get all riled up, and then
All riled up. I love that phrase. I'm all riled up, man. Yeah.
And but what it takes for me to calm down is to actually figure out what's going on and how I should view it.
Yeah. No, I do too. I definitely.
And that would be how anger is a gift. If you can figure that shit out, it helps. But if you just sit there and
stew in it.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but you know, every person I know has some kind of story about anger and like how it affects their life or how they deal with it. Some people just deal with it fine, and
yeah, because they maybe they have a fucking they know what's going on in their head.
we don't.
Like I know a guy at work and he deals with a lot of stressful situations. I don't see him getting angry, and I've pissed him off a couple times.
Yeah.
I know because my reaction was to apologize, and what he would do is not speak, and then the next time I see him, he'd be fine. Because in his head, he's like, "There's nothing to say.
Yeah.
We're already past this."
So he wasn't trying to like give you the silent treatment.
No.
It was just like, okay, I don't understand, but we're over this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna entertain this.
Yeah.
I know you're fucking mad. I'm not gonna go there, and we're gonna be friends in like 5 minutes.
Do you think he was always like that, or did he like learn that?
No idea. No
That'd be
idea, but
interesting.
I admire that for the fact that that's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I get mad and irrational.
Yeah. What's life without a little bit of irrationality or whatever you call that?
I just look up to people that have things figured out that I don't.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much everyone. Everyone's well, no, I mean because everyone's different.
Yeah.
And so everyone has something figured out better than you.
That's true. Do you like? So we said about our age, like we're close to 40,
Oh my god.
and like, what does that look like for like the rest of our lives? Like, there's the obvious like fear and sadness of like family members and close friends or like friends' parents
We're
passing
going
away.
deep now, man.
Sorry, yeah.
That shit fucking scares me.
Me too. But this is what happens when we talk.
Yo, dude, I've been trying to actually come up with solutions to that.
Yeah.
That's been on my mind recently.
Mm.
And I actually talked to my mom about it,
Yeah.
which was fucking uncomfortable. And you know what she told me?
What?
She's like, I'm already half tired of this shit. She didn't say the word shit. That's my translate.
That's what you took from it.
But she's like, you know, Aaron, by the time it comes to that point, I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna be ready.
Yeah.
So what she's basically saying is life, if it makes you feel better, maybe your parents by the time they reach that point are like, I've had it.
Yeah.
Like I've not like that,
Right.
but are like, I'm okay with it.
I've lived
Like
my
where
life.
else am I gonna go from here? I've lived a long fucking time.
Yeah. So
So
it's
she said that, and I was like, maybe I'll be mature enough to understand that when it happens.
yeah. I mean, I've heard tons of times where it's harder for the people left than the people that are going through it if it's a slower process or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's, and if that can help the person left behind to know that.
yeah, I would think so. Some kind of closure, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's deep. Why the fuck did I ask that question?
No, that's a good topic, really good topic, because that's something that people fear.
Yeah,
I
don't.
do, anyways. I would think that would plague me in high school.
Yeah.
Fucking high school.
How much stuff do you fear, and how high is that on your list of things?
Well, I heard this saying once. It's a famous person that said it, and I don't know it verbatim, but they said something like a lot of bad things have happened to me, or I've experienced a lot of bad things in life, some of which actually happened.
Ah,
He said,
yeah, I've heard that too.
so I don't know why I said that. My memory's going blank.
No, but that's it's a good one when you're talking about that stuff. You always have to have some kind of perspective
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be
rationality.
it's gonna be as bad as you make it,
Yeah,
basically.
and part of it too is like no one can really do anything to you. It's all your reactions to things that happen.
Mhm.
'Cause, I mean, those are just words. It doesn't help in the moment, but I don't know.
Things are gonna happen that hurt,
Yeah,
and you can make it worse
right.
if you feel like it. It's probably not a good idea.
It's true.
Fucking life advice 101. Now you guys have learned something you're gonna take away from this episode, other than the fact that it's fun to crush Bush Light beers.
I don't know if it's life advice. It's just random life talk.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's things that I fear happening, and like the more, man, what my mom said, man, that was like that applies to a lot, and it really made me feel a little better.
Yeah.
I worry because here's the thing, and I actually saw what's his name, Bill Burr, do a comedy thing about it.
The stand-up comedian. Yeah.
When I bought my cat,
Mm-hmm.
I was literally thinking to myself, can I handle the trauma of when the cat dies?
Yeah.
He made a comedy sketch about that. But I was like, I'm making a commitment to watching this thing die after I adapted as a friend.
Yeah. It's true. We had to put our dogs down. We put our dogs down the same day in April this past year, and it fucking sucked, man.
Oh yeah.
It still is hard. It's still like, there's like last night we were like chilling and put the kids to bed and we're like watching a show or whatever, and I like kicked my like rocker thing down and I went to get the dogs to like let them out. This was like April and we're in September. And it's like those little tiny things in your head just kind of like hit you and it's like, man, this isn't fun. But I go back and look at like all the great experiences and it was so good having those dogs and what do you
Yeah.
do?
Dog. A lot of people. Pets can mean a lot because here's the fact. At least, if nothing else, it never did anything to you with any kind of bad intent the entirety of the time you had it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was gonna share this band with you because I don't know if you'd like them, but you like weird. You have an eclectic collection.
Oh yeah.
And there's a band, Death Grips. I don't know if you ever heard them.
No.
But I was gonna send you that. They're kind of weird.
Okay. I'm always willing to listen to anything.
Yeah.
Give it a real shot.
Yeah, this guy actually listened to my music that I made. It's like the only person.
All of it.
I'm joking, but
He gave me a handful of CDs one night outside a bar. I popped it in and was like, yeah, I'm feeling that. It's good.
Because usually when I give people, dude, this neighbor, I'm gonna flip out on him.
Is this the guy right here?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I sat on the porch when he started up earlier and he stopped it.
It's really loud.
Will you hear that though? Like, what's that about?
He's cool, man.
It's a crotch rocket too, and this guy's like a douchebag type.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Like that's the whole reason of his existence is to make that noise.
Yeah, it was fuck, dude. And when I walked out there earlier today, he was just standing there doing this, and like his girlfriend was on the porch cheering him on. And I'm witnessing this weird shit go on, and I'm like, what's wrong? Like, go watch a movie or something. What are you fucking doing? Weirdos.
That was her movie, apparently. Like, that's what.
Dude, if I have neighbors that I'm calling fucking weirdos,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Fuck that shit. That's why I played my Antichrist Superstar at full blast.
It's a great album, too.
And yeah, it's the picture disc. Could do the picture disc sound better now?
They sound better than they used to.
It's still just not as good as a straight up.
I mean, that's been my experience.
Now, when they have different colors, like you got the standard black, when they press like a red or a one with a splash color, is that?
My experience is those have come a long way. At first, a couple years ago, I mean, they were only talking a couple years ago. I think they've come a long way in making the quality of the wax a lot better. I think they were just adding so much to begin with that they weren't quite sure what they were doing, and you don't know what you were going to get.
They're like, look how badass we can make this.
Yeah, but a picture disc is done differently because the wax and the splatter, they can still mix that the right consistency. With a picture disc, I don't know what they do. They like implant the picture on top of it so you don't get like the full, I don't know, it messes with the groove somehow.
Yeah, that's basically what I was wondering because I got lots of vinyls with splash on them, whatever you want, whatever that's called.
Yeah, they usually call them splatter.
Or just straight up different color.
Yeah.
Or even like clear.
I had a glow in the dark one that looked awesome, but it sounded like shit. I had to sell it.
I have that. Cause dude, I have Anthrax, State of Euphoria, and when it gets halfway through the second side, it just all of a sudden it makes a weird noise, and the needle goes. It like just flies down the side every time, and then it goes back up.
But there's more songs that should be playing. Yeah.
It irritates me to the point where I don't even want to sell it because someone else would have to deal with that.
Right, and if you sold it and didn't disclaim it, then.
So it's like I want to throw it away and buy a new copy. Collecting records is stressful, guys. Like,
yeah, I've gone through some stress about it. I've gone through some days, some dark days.
You wait for a month for your album and it skips. You're like sitting there like, oh my God,
what am I doing with my life? Yeah, you rethink everything in like a matter of moments.
You're like drinking whiskey. There's like the ashtray, the cigarette, you forgot to keep smoking it, like a detective movie, and it's burning down, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, the album. 5 o'clock shadow. Well, I want Blood and Fire.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Hopefully they repress
it.
That.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling that though.
They
only pressed it enough for you to get it.
Mine's not for sale. But mine skips. I didn't tell you that. On the song March, it gets caught. It's a really creepy part that it gets caught on because it's one of Dan's like weird eerie screams, and it just like loops it so it stays on it. So all I have to do is like take the needle up and just drop it like a fraction of a centimeter to let it keep playing, but it has that defect. You know what they said about it? They gave me like a 10 or 15% off on their store to buy more shit.
See, that's really cool.
It was cool they did it, but it's not
cool that the record's fucked up.
Right, but they still try to make amends about it. They didn't just say, "Oh well."
Zayo's not pressing them themselves. It's like when you complain about a meal at a restaurant. It's
Yeah.
like the cook made it, not the fucking server.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
And they're always pretty cool, man. I remember I went. Do you ever? Man, what was that thing? It was bigger than Purple Door.
Creation or Cornerstone.
Cornerstone. I went to Cornerstone Fest.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a multiple day thing. You
In high
slept
school
in
you
a
went?
tent and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister drove me there. It was far away. I don't remember what state it was.
Chicago, Illinois, I believe.
Was it? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And Zayo was there anyway. I saw them hanging out by their tour van, and
Yeah.
the one was smoking a cigarette. And at that age, I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh my god, are they a Christian band? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that really hit me. And then
Did you ever watch the Zayo documentary? Where he like
I had it. I owned it.
Yeah, Jesse's drinking the beers and smoking cigarettes.
The Lesser Lights of Heaven, or
Yeah.
whatever it was called.
Perfect Curse or something.
They went through the whole discography.
Yeah. Yeah, up until that point, it was crazy.
Yeah, but he's like the badass out of the group, and he's not that badass. Or
I
at
mean,
least he wishes he was.
Yeah, they're all badass now.
He's the drummer, right?
He was the drummer. He's not there anymore.
Because he had a really good style.
Yeah, the newer drummer, Jeff, is really, really good too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I mean, he's
What albums has he been on?
all of them since, oh, geez. We were in high school when Jesse left. Or right after. It was like 2005. We graduated in 02, so a few years after he left the band, I think. Around that time.
Because I kind of thought of him as like the linchpin, like the guy that was holding it all together, and I guess not, because I liked their albums after that.
Yeah. I mean, he was, but he was also kind of, there was some breaking issues going on there. Oh, okay. So I remember listening to a previous episode, and there was some conversation about Weezer, about the Blue album. Did you never listen to the second album, Pinkerton?
It's the only one I've heard. Not
Pinkerton was almost,
pretty good.
it was like 1A to the Blue album. The rest
it's
of it is
all right.
trash. Yeah, Pinkerton
Oh,
is
so
great.
there's two
There's
that
two
are good.
albums. And then the rest is pretty subpar, and it got worse and worse as it went on. But they took a break after those two. From 96 to 2001, they didn't have an album come out. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
so if you look at like the Blue album and Pinkerton, that's like the real Weezer. So it gives you something to dive back into if you're
I'll
ever
check out that
interested.
No, I seriously will. I will say this: the only streaming audio that I will listen to is '90s alternative,
Yeah?
because I don't have all that stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and it takes me back. Like I'm still scratching my poison. Like I will listen to all the hits. I'll listen to Gin Blossoms,
Yeah.
Jealousy, like all that shit from back in the day. That song, Better Than Ezra.
Yeah.
It was good.
Good.
Yeah.
I think it's
yeah.
called Good.
I'll listen to that, all that stuff, because
Yeah.
it really. Bush. Is that what their name was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Everything Zen album was great.
Drinking Bush. Talking about.
You're like, wait a minute. It's spelled
Yeah,
different.
that gave me
It's
a little
spelled
head
differently.
trip. I will. I like that stuff. So listening to that Weezer album would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I only ever heard the blue one.
There's some good live songs too. The band live. They were in that kind of
Oh.
genre.
Live. I think they had two albums I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And Counting Crows. I'm big on Counting Crows, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. And it's almost like, well, there's really the one album I like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not so much I like it as need it, because that album helps me. It taps into a part of me emotionally that I don't understand without it. I don't know how to explain it. Sounds kind of gay.
Is
But
it it's the music or the lyrics or the combination?
Just the whole feeling and lyrics, all of it. Yeah.
Do you have like seasonal albums that like sound really good different times of the year? Or is that like
Yeah.
really stupid?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
When it gets like now,
Yeah.
when it hits October,
Uh-huh.
I'll be feeling some kind of way. I don't know how to explain it, but I will. When it hits October, I get this feeling, and it's weird. Like all of my girlfriends broke up with me in October. I swear to God, something happens in October.
With you or with them?
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of creepy, but I get this like nostalgic feeling once it starts cooling off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a lot of people do, I guess. And springtime.
Yeah, I mean, but in the fall and then as winter approaches, a lot of people like depression will kick in and shit too.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's like documented. That's a thing. That's for real.
Yeah.
So the weather and like how much sunlight you get.
Right.
People working third shift are typically have some issues with depression and all kinds of stuff. Some people love it.
Yeah, but I think if you do it over a long period of time, it can affect your health, mental or physical.
Yeah, I think so too. I do.
I mean, it has to do with like, it's just almost rewiring how you think and what you do, and everything's a little bit off. I didn't work third shift for all that long, but I did a few different stints of it. In college, I worked third shifts for a while, stocking shelves. And then in my adult life, I worked third shift at like those group homes and stuff.
And
was weird.
it made you feel a little off.
Yeah,
like
my
jet lag.
stomach. Oh yeah, jet lagged, and my stomach was always in knots.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly. You probably didn't sleep as much either.
No, you can't. I mean, I got dark curtains and stuff, but like there's shit going on outside your windows all the time, and
Fucking doing construction in front of my house.
and your little motorbike friend over here.
Yeah, it's like it is. I would put cardboard. I'd spray paint cardboard black and fill my windows up with cardboard.
Turn a fan on real loud.
Yeah.
Some white noise. Still doesn't. Yeah.
And also with the sunlight, vitamin D and stuff keeps you. It's an antidepressant basically.
Yeah.
It's a natural antidepressant. Like if you at least get 15 minutes of sunlight a day, you'll be much better off.
So we just diagnosed why all your relationships ended in October.
Oh man, I blame it on the fucking bitches. That's my story. I'm sticking with it.
That's a lot quicker and simpler than what we got into.
Yeah. Well, no, it's both. Honestly, girls can have more mood swings, and so something like that would affect them, and then I can still blame it on them.
There you go. Who likes ownership?
Yeah, fuck that, man. That's actually one of the things that helped me through the aftermath of all my relationships is realizing, hey, bro, what did you do? You can't fucking change what they did, even if they were some evil spawn from Satan. You did something. Fix that. You know what I mean? It's not important. It's important what you did.
Yeah, after a relationship like that or a friendship ends, whatever it may be, like you can't go like change them or still speak anything into that.
Yeah.
It's all about what you can do for yourself in that moment, I guess.
Yeah, man. These are those conversations like when you're at the bar. Like right now, I'm about to ask for a wild turkey or something.
And a Budweiser.
I always feel comfortable at the bar.
Do you?
Yeah. It's like at a dive.
Yeah.
Bar. I was talking to a coworker about clubs and stuff. I'm not a fan.
I find myself I'm never comfortable in public unless I'm in a mosh pit. But I like, there's different levels of it for me. So if I'm at like one of those mid-level, like everyone's kind of doing their own thing and like spaced out bar settings.
Yeah, exactly.
But even the dive bars, sometimes I feel like there's way too many eyes on me.
Yeah. And it might just be the fact that they're serving you alcohol that I start to feel comfortable because that's obviously a cure for that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, though. I've done that. Like, I'd be in my house, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. And sometimes I'll take a walk or whatever. But if I feel that way and go to the bar,
Yeah.
I sit down and feel awkward as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't really want to go to the bar. I wanted to get out of the fucking house.
Right.
And I'm in a weird mood, and then there's people there, and I'm like,
I better start drinking.
yeah. Then you drink.
Start feeling better.
Then you look at the time. You're like, it's okay, bro. It's been an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and you've had 5 beers. If you were sitting at your house and it's been an hour and a half, you would have like 1.5 beers.
Yeah. I'm that way too. You can definitely socially drink a lot quicker. Or you know what really messed me up is when I had to start doing like Zoom and shit for work. Like we were working from home, and so I started like drinking beers with people through Zoom. And you drink faster than you do at a bar. I got so wasted sitting on my couch having Zoom conversations with people. And there'd be like 5 or 6 people on the screen, and everyone's like waiting for their turn to talk. And while you're not talking, you're just like steadily pounding beers. And it got crazy for a while there. It was a little touch and go.
That's awesome. Man. I never really did that.
Yeah, it's weird.
I remember at your house though, talking to that one guy
Yeah.
that likes horror films.
Yeah, he's one of my coworkers. He's the one that like got me into it first of all, because he video chats with his friends because they're all over the states. And my friends, I have friends that are all over the states too, but we don't do that. We just like we say like, all right, well, like whenever we get in the same state, we'll hang out. But like he stays connected with them that way, and like they talk all the time, like multiple times throughout the week.
Yeah.
And they'll just hang out, like sitting at their computer watching movies while they're doing it and shit. And I never got that because I was never a phone person, you know. I hated talking on the phone. I hated, you know, again, back to like that social awkwardness thing. It's always like, when's the conversation going to end and how much do I have to put into it?
You're looking around the room.
When am
You
I
got
going to say
phone
something
arm?
weird?
You ever get phone arm?
What do you mean?
You're on the phone and then you put your arm down. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I can relate.
I remember doing that at your house. And I don't know how many Heinekens I had before it, but I was talking up whoever the fuck was on that screen. I'm like, oh, and then this happened. I get a little bit talkative when I get, and it's weird. The times that I've gone, talk about different speeds in drinking.
Mm-hmm.
The times I've gone to your little bonfires, bam, 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 bam. I wake up the next day like, no, you're not even capable of drinking 15 beers.
Man, I'm telling you, around a bonfire with some good music and some good people, it's easy to just
Hell yeah,
pound beers and they just go down like nothing.
Especially if you feel like you and Mark Jones and shit. Ain't seen you guys forever.
Yeah.
Not a fucking picked up right where he left off. Not a fucking thing happened. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like our lives happened, but then nothing else.
But we're still chill.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. I don't even know how it. Yeah. I don't know how it reconnected or started, but it's cool as shit.
And there's not many people anymore, at least, that I talk to from school. There were a couple people I would run into here and there, maybe in my early 20s, and hang like Daniel Jones and shit, and hang out with for a little bit.
Right.
But it was big. But Lance and Barsh and John were basically the. I think in life, like even if you would never know, but even if there's someone that you would typically like remain friends indefinitely, or even family members even and shit. Like there's parts of your life you have to go off on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta fucking do and learn from. And you have to do that.
Yeah.
Or you're not gonna.
That's why I moved away like after high school. I mean, I didn't move that far away. It was like a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Yeah.
But I found a college in Ohio I wanted to go to enough to like go, and it was like because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, just go start working, or should I try college? I don't know. And it was just there was lots of
crossroads.
Yeah, there was a lot of bumps in the road trying to figure all that shit out.
Were you at the college? Did you have a apartment, or you in
I was in the
frat house with a bunch of douchebags?
No, No, I was in a cool dorm room my freshman year. It was like the freshman dorm, so there was like no air conditioning or anything,
The
and it
Roach
was
Motel.
it was rough. It was, but we had I met a lifelong friend there. My first roommate. They just set me up with this random guy Lee, and he played baseball. He was on the baseball team, but he was just cool as shit, and we like just got along. Fear Factory was the connection. We both like Fear Factory, and then all of a sudden we were like best friends.
You're at each other's throats, and you look down and there's a Fear Factory CD. Oh, I didn't know all that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even, yeah, it was like the first day and we just instantly hit it off. And then, so yeah, after my freshman year living in those dorms where we did all sorts of crazy shit, I mean, like college, I didn't really do that much in high school. I was pretty straight laced and playing sports and like didn't get, like my senior year, I did some partying and stuff and got a little, off the chain here and there, but it wasn't a lot. But college is a whole new ball game. So my freshman year, I just was like, all right, I'll go to class when I have to and figure out how to pass just so I can go have fun.
You think maybe I'm gonna grab a beer. You think
Yeah, I'll
maybe
take one if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll grab one. Here's something I was thinking about. Like, if you go to college in Ohio,
Yeah.
you don't know anyone. No one has any kind of thoughts or opinions about you,
Right.
or cares what you do. You think that's maybe why it's easier to cut loose and do shit like no one's gonna judge you.
For the first like week, they don't judge you, and then all of a sudden, like you already
Shit
have.
changes quickly.
I mean, that was the thing. Like, I went to like freshman initiation or orientation, whatever. Not initiation. that's where you get the shit beat out of you. I didn't get the shit beat out of me. I wasn't in any frats or anything. I had really long hair. Do you remember? Like remember I couldn't let it touch my ears, so I kept pushing it up, and it got really long doing that. So eventually, I was able to wear it however I
You
wanted.
got to have long hair.
Yeah.
Fucking bastard.
And
I
then-
went bald like in high school. I had to take Rogaine to get through.
To get through that
I
senior
did.
year.
I started taking Rogaine like halfway through 11th grade. I started fucking receding.
Damn. It sucks, man. Yeah, I still have hair. Sorry.
Fuck
Plenty
you.
of it.
Your luscious full head of hair.
You want me to? I mean, I can
Bitch.
do locks for Aaron if you want.
You know what? Once I started shaving my head, I was like, oh, okay. I'm never going back.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah, man. I had long hair when I started, so a week into it, I got this new persona. Like I said, I started being called Lucas. I just introduced myself that way. I don't know why, but pretty soon I wasn't Lucas anymore. I was Hippie. Everyone knew me as Hippie. South Park was really popular then, and so like Cartman saying hippie and all that. There was a couple guys that started that, and then all of a sudden I had long hair. I like to party and have a good time, so all of a sudden I was hippie. And that's what most of the guys in the freshman year still call me. But then the end of freshman year, I shaved my head like that.
Oh, did you?
I said, fuck it. And I shaved my head for years.
So you know all about that.
I mean, I did it.
Comfortable.
Yeah. The breeze all of a sudden. It was,
yeah, the breeze.
and your shoulders didn't hurt from all that weight. It was just.
But when it's cold out, you got to have a beanie on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I did that forever, but had all the hairstyles. I still change it all the time because I get bored with the same thing.
I'm like that with fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I go all like, well, all right. So I got facial hair. I'm like that with my beard and shit. Like,
I remember drinking some beers with you when you had that giant ass mustache.
that mustache, man, and the beard would be dripping
You get
off.
so.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I spent a year on this shit. I don't care how uncomfortable it is.
Eating chicken wings with sauce and everything. That's a disaster. I would have like asked everyone in the bar for some scissors just so I could enjoy my fucking chicken wings.
I had to do it. It's one of them things I had to do.
Yeah.
And it took me a year to get it just right. And I took a whole bunch of pictures of it and shaved it the fuck off.
Will you do it again?
I don't know, man. It's probably sometime.
Yeah.
Damn, like, I got a whole another half of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one thing we were talking about earlier, I think. Like, we're getting old and shit. But think about how much shit you've done. up to this point. A lot. A
Yeah.
lot of shit.
But-
And then it's like, oh, I have a whole nother one of those, man.
Right.
Like that's a way to look at shit.
It is, yeah. I mean, and then all of it, like my crazy brain puts a weird spin on it as soon as you say that, and I say, but like think of how much faster months go and how much faster years go now.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. I
Because-
thought about that too.
The more, time you have to look at it, the less something seems to be.
Time goes by.
Your cat
My
scared the shit out
cat,
of
my
me.
cat Kanga, is using my couch as a scratching post right now,
Hey, Kanga.
and I stand firmly on the fact that I don't care. My cat lives here too. Hey,
I'm glad
bud.
he's all healed up, right?
Yeah. Kanga appears on every episode. Hey, bud. Whether she wants to or not. She obviously doesn't want to right now.
She. I said he, my bad.
So, there's that, man.
So spinning right back to this festival, man. Like, have you been excited about anything like this, like to this extent in a long
Not
time?
in a while. No.
Yeah.
Not in a while. And a part of me is like anxious as well,
Yeah.
you know. But I look forward to hanging out with you and Davo and Mark.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blast, man. It's gonna be fun as shit.
Yeah, real good group of people that definitely get along and view a lot of things the same way.
Yeah.
All the band, like what other fucking group of people is excited about all these exact same bands?
I know.
And it's like, it's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And some of these bands I never ever thought I would see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen Stave Savior, and I really didn't think I ever would. And if they play like nothing but their new songs, here I'm getting negative already.
I know.
If they do, though, I'm going to walk right up on stage and be like, guys, I know you're having fun nowadays.
Yeah.
Your new shit sucks, man. And there's other people here.
There's no way that they're not going to play some of those old amazing songs, but
Dude, so ever
getting
since
in.
we found out about that, I've been playing that fucking album Absolutes, and I didn't appreciate it enough when I was younger.
agreed.
Oh
I'm
my
the same way.
God.
Yeah.
And it has some kind of emotional appeal to it too. That's insane. It puts you in the zone.
Yeah, that's what music does. It's hard to, and it's always, like you said, you talk to someone who says they love music and they're passionate, and then within like 2 minutes, you kind of know the level. And you're like, yeah, I'm
I
a
know
little
what bands
crazier.
they like now, and I can adjust to the conversation
Yeah.
instantly.
Adjust to the conversation is the perfect way to put
I'm
it.
not going to go deep on it. Well, I am, because if they like that kind of thing, I will.
Mhm.
But yeah, man.
Just we knew about this for like a year ago, and we started talking about it as like, are we gonna drive to Alabama to go see all these bands? And we're like, I don't know, maybe. And then all of a sudden it was like, all right. One of us said, I think it was me. I was like, yeah. I worked it out and was like, yeah, it's gonna happen. And who's with me?
I said I'm like, I want to go,
Yeah.
but I'm not the type that has any idea how I'm going to do anything or actually set something up.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you were saying the same thing. Like, I'm fucking going. Give a fuck what you guys do, but you actually had a plan, which is useful.
I had a half-ass plan, and when it was just like before anyone else was confirmed, me and you were like, well, I don't know, we'll just sleep in our car.
Yeah.
And then Mark the genius came along and was like, what about Airbnb?
Well, Mark is a planner. I think
He's good at it. Yeah.
So there's that. I'm not,
Yeah, we have like a whole house to hang out in now.
but
And
I'm
get
down to do
nice
anything.
sleep.
Is it Lynn? Is it
It's still Lynn.
Lynn? Because I was talking about it earlier. It's Lynn. All
Yeah.
right. So,
You're right.
and I'm not as cool as you guys because I haven't talked to Lynn in a while.
I mean, Mark's
Mark's
the
got
lady.
the
Yeah.
connection with Lynn.
Yeah. We're hanging out in her house for a while.
I'm jealous. I'm gonna tell Lynn it's been me all along.
She's not
I
gonna
have
be there,
a big
man.
black hole in my chest where my heart used to be. Now that I know you're talking to Mark.
She won't even be there.
It's one of those. She actually does she live in another house and rents that one out?
I think so. But
That's,
did you hear the house changed? Apparently, she sold the house we were gonna stay in.
she's got other houses.
Yeah,
I didn't see the picture of the other ones.
it's like the same. Mark said it's like an exact replica.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's like I got some good news and some bad news. She sold the house, but she bought the same one.
But it's the same distance away, so I don't understand. I don't know if she had both of them or what, but Mark said it's the same furniture and everything.
Oh man.
So I'm down. I'm good.
Dude, what are the other bands though? I'm trying to in my head I got some
Turnstile,
kind of block.
Knock Loose.
Oh yeah.
Did you listen to the new Turnstile album?
No.
Good Lord.
I'm stuck on that Step to Rhythm one.
I almost wrecked my car like 10 times listening to that new Turnstile. You can't help but just like you're I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention to the road at all.
I've listened to hardcore, have my arm on the steering wheel and being like this, driving, and then I stop in traffic and there's someone looking at me like, what the fuck? I'm getting away from him.
Do you ever get the full body going? As your hand's not even on the steering wheel anymore. It's ridiculous.
I don't care what happens to my car. This song is awesome.
I got to get through it.
So the new Turnstile. So what do I need to check out? You was a band you said earlier, right? Oh, the new Zayo, but then the new Turnstile.
Yeah. There's no new Knock Loose. You know all the Knock Loose stuff.
Okay. Knock Loose is just one of those, let's do a breakdown that's going to make you afraid to be in the crowd.
Yeah, pretty
type
much.
bands.
Yeah. And then we talked about Zayo, Living Sacrifice, Shai Hulud, and
Poison the Well.
Poison the Well.
Face to Face is going to be there.
Yeah.
And
I'm a huge Every Time I Die fan, so I can't wait to see them.
I've never listened to them.
It's not the one you hate.
Yeah.
These guys are more chaotic.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
I don't, that's like a strong word for music.
Yeah.
It's like,
but
I don't like
As I Lay Dying.
As I Lay Dying.
I'm not a huge fan either.
Now I have
I don't
a
hate
book.
them either. Yeah.
They named themselves after
Yeah.
the book. Guys.
But
The book's better than the band.
where have I heard that before? Never.
I said I'm pulling from an archive of jokes. I've said that one before.
Silent Planet is another band that they just added on recently that I think you'd get into.
I've never heard them.
Yeah.
I'll check them out.
They're weird. In a good way.
And my buddy Zach sent me something last night to check out. What the fuck? I don't remember.
A band that's going to be there?
King 9, or I don't remember what they were called. And I checked that out. A couple beers deep.
Ice Nine Kills? They're like a horror metal band. Or not horror. It's not metal. It's just a horror kind of punk band.
It was you. I know you've heard of the band. I just can't remember. It was like King's
X? King's Crimson? King Crimson?
No, it's a hardcore band or a heavy band. King. Fuck, man. All right, guys. I'm gonna figure this out, or it's gonna bother the shit out of me.
They're not a heavy band, but King Buffalo is an amazing band.
Luke's gonna take over the fucking hosting for this.
All I'm gonna do is talk about music. Like I said, man, I'm not that interesting. We're pushing a long time here, and
Well, I don't think we've delved into enough music. We've been talking about too much deep shit.
it's been about 90% music and 10% random shit.
Yeah, fucking.
Can we talk about how when you saw Mark for the first time in a long time? We don't have to, but that's one of my favorite memories from the past year.
Oh, my beer's over there. What, the hug?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
No, your exact response was, my mom doesn't even hug me like that.
No, I don't even hug
I don't even hug my mom. That was
She
it.
definitely hugs me.
Yes.
He said it was like watching a train wreck.
Oh, that was a fun night. That's where we talked about the cereal addictions.
Oh my god, I thought that's what you were gonna bring up.
I mean, the hug came first.
Mark's a fucking stand-up comedian,
I
man.
know.
He
He comes up with the most random, awesome stuff.
he's fucking. It's comedy hour. I'm like, all I said was I love eating cereal. And he's like, oh yeah, what's your go-to? Fucking. I guess you had to be there.
It just sounded like a drug reference of like, what's your drug of choice kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
That's
oh,
why
I don't know. I float between these cereals.
And I looked over at you guys. I was like, what the fuck is
Complex
going on here?
conversation.
It got real weird.
Then Mariella shows up, and she doesn't want to come on the show.
Oh, you asked her. All right.
No, I initially I sent out a bunch of messages because I had no idea. I didn't think anyone would come on the show. I didn't think anyone would watch it.
Yeah, I have a good time watching it. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, my friend Pat Weaver, he watches podcasts all the time, and me and him had discussions like, why don't we have one?
Yeah.
Normal people that aren't famous have just as much interesting shit to say. And then I started fucking around with this shit. So he was my first guest. He was like, let's do this.
Nice.
And then I think it made it seem like it was possible. Because if you're trying to push something and you don't even have it, you know what I mean by that? Like, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
You have to make the thing you're trying to do first. Which
Yeah.
I didn't understand that concept.
Makes sense.
All right, what's this band called? King 9.
It is King 9? Yeah, never heard of
Song's
them.
called Prayer for Strength.
Check it out. Send it to me.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. So, guys, this has been a fucking kick-ass episode. We could talk about music for about 4 more hours.
Bore you to death.
But it's going to be one of those, you're not going to know what the fuck we're talking about. All right. And we got to listen to some music anyways, and we can't on this show because it'll be flagged for copyright. Crown of Thoughts, Lucas Adams. Peace, motherfuckers. What the fuck's going on? It's like when I tried to start it.
Yeah. It's going to be the blooper reel now.
That's weird, man. You see what's happening, right?
Yeah, you're hitting stop and it's just continuing to play.
I don't know what to do about all that.
Can you pause it?